You know, as a butterfly and a MkUltra person in the system, which is what I tend to call it, the system, um, and someone who is doing a lot of research, watching interviews from other people that say they're my labs, listen, contacting my lab researchers when I feel like I might actually get somewhere or whatever. Um, I've noticed that there's one thing lacking in how people describe their experiences. They never talk about their alter egos, as my friend put it, alter egos, your alters, the other people that are up here that either were implanted as control systems, put in through demonic rituals, our natural splits from the training, because some of the training can be pretty rigorous and stressful, or what have you. No one talks about them. I've seen like maybe one, two people, like, I have a child, alter, and I have a sex kitten. And no one really talks about this. And um, although I'm not a mental health professional, I'll look at stuff and I'll learn stuff, and that's as far as it's gone for me. And but I will look up stuff, especially in regards to how can I solve my predicament, how can I finish my own quest, you know. And it feels like I'm the only one that deals with that aspect. And when you are in the system, you do have alters, you have things to manifest. And I was reading an article last night that was talking about how you should never refer to your alters as you have multiple personalities, because they're actually different people. We're just occupying the same brain. But although I can see that, and yeah, for a lot of people with genuine dissociative identity disorder, trust me, I've met quite a few fakers. This is true. The other people, they're the insiders, as it were, the alters, are afraid of dying. They lead their own lives. They tend to have limited scope worldviews, though. I've noticed that in myself. I learned last night that the term for me in particular, as someone who's part of a matrix system, is the host, because I'm the one that's out dominant. And okay, I'm the host. Someone wrote that I'm not a real person. See, and that's where it gets kind of sticky, because I'm a real person and I have a very, to me, deep life. And yeah, I do have limitations socially. Like, these people, they'll start talking about all this stuff and I have to stop because I can't go there, like, literally. And sometimes when I try, it is literally painful. And with my research, I understand why that is now. Okay, fine. But I still feel that when you're in the system, you should learn to deal with your insiders and the other aspects, or just the other people, however you want to view them. I view them as other aspects of me. I view them as kind of like how people, the Celtic goddess, I'm not sure if I'm going to pronounce her name correctly, the Murgu with the 3 faces. And, she'll switch faces according to situation, which is kind of like dissociative identity disorder. And so I kind of view myself that way, even though I actually can hold conversations with my others, who view themselves not as part of me, even though they know that we are. And the reason why is because almost every last one of us know the moment that we split from the main cell, and that makes us part of one another. So I've got this main alter, and I don't know what she is, if she's like a hacker to the matrix that was built inside of me by the handlers, or she was actually a gatekeeper. I don't know what she is, but she's this clever little sucker. And she's very strong. She can actually take over the body without asking, which all of us, I put down this house rule. My body, I run it. I guess that's why I'm host. And she's been working really hard to make it so that we all can merge and become a single person again. Through my entire life, she's been like talking to me and trying to teach me stuff. And it used to be my first handler would spend hours talking to me, and then he's gone. And it's like she just kind of took his place. One time I remember pretty clearly, she came to me, and it's really funky because, I mean, first off, she'll come like when you're half asleep and half awake. I forget the scientific term for that state of being. Put yourself in my shoes. So you're me, and you're laying on the couch, and you're half in and out, and in your mind, almost like a dream state, walks up you. Only it's the thinner, younger you. She doesn't like to grow old. And then she talks to you in your voice. One time she came to me, she's holding this colored box, and she would turn it, and it would light. And I don't remember clearly now. And I had it on my online dream blog, this event, and the blog, which was at blurdy.com, is now gone. Like, the site's down. There is no Blurdy anymore. And so this is gone, this record that I had. So I can't go back and refresh my memory. But the box would like flash colors, and she would do a certain sequence where she would flip from side to side and activate different things. And she would say, this is how you do it, and do it. And then she'd wait a minute, and then she'd repeat herself. This is how you do it, and do it again. And I didn't realize until later that what she was doing was teaching me how to unlock the gate in my head to get my information out. My particular altar situation actually leads back to remembering everything. Some people will sometimes say to me, why do you want to do that? You don't need to do that. Why do you want to wallow? You don't need to do that. You need to ascend. You need to become one, which is basically you need to go to heaven, whatever. And outside of the fact that remembering things, including the bad things, like off the top of my head, watching your loved ones get buried up to their heads in sand at the beach to drown, okay? Remembering that helps you to deal with the fact that it happened, and it helps you to deal with the trauma. I mean, that's kind of like, you know, something they use for PTSD patients even, dun, dun, dun. But also, it helps you reconnect down the path. Okay, it's like the analogy of Hansel and Gretel. Hansel and Gretel taken out in the middle of the woods by their father to die. But on the way, they kept dropping breadcrumbs or pebbles, things so they can find their way back home. So then Hansel and Gretel's in the middle of the woods, and they've got to face the wicked witch, and, you know, then they find their way home. Well, it's like that for me. Every memory is a breadcrumb, and I'm all these people now, or I don't see myself as all these people, but there's all these, you know, I don't know how many people there are, probably just 3 knowing my luck, but let's just, hypothetically, there's all these people, and I'm facing the wicked witch, and in my case, the witch in the gingerbread house of Hansel and Gretel is the monster of the fact that if I don't become all one person, I'm actually running the risk of suffering a soul death. Even if one bit of me makes it back to heal, all the rest of me may not. And that's a lot of data and personality and strength and power that's gone. I recently watched a South Korean TV show called My Girlfriend's a Nine-Tailed Fox. And in it, she's dying deaths so that she can become human. And with each minor death, she would lose one of her lives and one of her tails would fade away. And it's kind of like that. Like all of these splits, they're like tails. And with each breadcrumb, you're going backwards. Oh, this is another moment in which, you know, Billy Bob was born. And you're able to reconnect with Billy Bob, and you're able to go remember that as if you really were there, which you really were. And then it helps to create a link so that Billy Bob and you can become one person again. And it goes backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards. So not only are you working on your PTSD and your trauma and learning to cope and come to terms with things, you know, and learning to forgive yourself, and like it or not, forgiving those that did it to you, because you kind of need that for healing. I mean, for me, it's just a thing, you know, so I've got that advantage there, but other people not so lucky. Then, you know, you keep doing that until finally you get back to the cottage where you live, where you're just a family again, and one person, hopefully.
And it's kind of neat because I've always said that remembering was the key to my survival, because this is what I was programmed in here. Because what I'm doing is what I was programmed to do, to actually come full circle so that I can live. My handler, my first handler, I don't know if he meant it or if it's part of an experiment. I don't know. I just know that the need instructions are there. I don't know who put them there. I get the feeling it was my first handler, but I couldn't begin to tell you. And so we've been doing this for so long that a lot has opened up. And I'd always wondered what remembering was the key to my survival meant. And when I was watching this show, it dawned on me, oh, this is what it means. I understand now. I have to tell you, some of the alters inside of me are really powerful people. And I mean powerful people, as in, like, there was this one time I got drunk around some friends and this alter came out and she kept her eyes closed because she was blind. I mean, I could see with my eyes because I was there too, but she was blind, so she just kept my eyes closed. And she had these tendrils. That's the best I can call them, is tendrils. I've seen animes and TV shows represent them, and it was kind of like that, but there were these invisible tentacle things going everywhere, and she could sense everything. She knew everything. She knew the bug on the windowsill. She knew who was behind her. She knew who was down the street. She wasn't truly blind. She just wasn't using eyes. And maybe when that person was split from me, you know, and she was only 5 minutes old, she wasn't powerful. But she sure as hell is now. And they split you with all these splits to get these powers, and I actually look forward to what I'm going to be when I finally become one person. There's no feeling like that, this complete control of every gift you've got. There is no feeling in the world to replace this. I honestly, I don't think reptilians know that kind of strength. And I'll cover another reason, the double block mental blocks and why it's so important when facing reptilians another time. I don't see anyone else dealing with it. I see them denying it. I see them being angry about it. I see them trying to take glory from it. There was somebody on Facebook recently that's like, I've been trying to get a hold of somebody about my story, and I deleted the video, and I want to tell my story to the universe. And I can remember feeling the need to do that, but just the three of you that watch this is fine. I really hope I can do tendrils and see the way she could. As long as I can still see with my eyeballs, that would be great too. I'm getting this feeling like I'm totally mangling this. It's because it's hard to talk about, but so I'm going to stop.